Jujutsu Kaisen has ended, and to me, it just feels unfinished. And after reading Gigi's letter about what he felt about the series, it honestly sounds like he hated every moment creating this series. From plot threads that never got resolved to basically, in my opinion, just losing the plot of the story completely. I think it's time that we talk about the problems of Jujutsu Kaisen. And keep in mind, I actually think that the series does some really cool things, but that doesn't mean that it can't escape my criticism. So let's get this going. My name is Tyler, and welcome to the Manga Cafe. By the way, this video is just going to be like a straight rant. I might go off topic, I'm going to stay on topic, who knows, but I'm really passionate about this because I loved Jujutsu Kaisen. I mean, you can't lie that the art isn't fantastic. Yeah, there were some times where you saw the art and you were like, Gigi's, he's definitely tired today, but for the most part, like this series was monumental, and this is like one of the series that got my brothers into anime and manga. So to say that like it's not influential and amazing would be a downright lie. But there are a lot of problems with Jujutsu Kaisen, and now that it's ended and I've had some time to think about it and maybe reread some chapters, it's time to talk about it. For me, like the ending just didn't feel like an ending. It felt like the end of an arc. We got some resolve on like Sukuna and like his feelings. It was trying to, I don't know, it felt like they were trying to humanize Sukuna and like, oh, he would have been this way had he had this like thing happen to his life. You know, we had Yuji, Megumi, and Nobara going on a mission, and you know, we see how cool Nobara is, and like I thought that sucked. I'll be honest, I thought that sucked. That we got to see how cool Nobara is, but it was at the end, and it's like, Gigi, why couldn't we have had Nobara throughout the whole series? Like, I just like, it made me go, damn, like killing her, that sucked. Like having Nobara dead so quick sucked. And I get it, like the Shibuya incident needed to be like a really intense arc. It was crazy. Like I remember my brothers coming over to watch the anime, and I was like, guys, like, oh, I've read this in the manga, but they were so enthralled. And like the Shibuya incident is a massive arc. It is awesome. It is filled to the brim with action, and obviously like you need casualties. You need Yuji to feel like the weight of the power of Sukuna and these cursed beings, but at the same times it's like, you didn't have to kill Nobara. You didn't have to do that. And seeing her at the end of the series, it made me go, man, like it'd been really nice to have kept the whole team together in this story. But that's actually a big problem that I think Gigi had, is I felt like he never had like a major plan for this series. I felt like he was always just like, what if we did this? What if we did this? And because of that, so many plot threads just were untouched and unresolved. Like you had the Jujutsu Society corruption. I was unresolved, and which sucks because like I wanted to go deep into that. Like give me a full arc about the Jujutsu Society corruption, you know, the merger, that like nothing happened of that. What is the name of Yuji's domain expansion? Like we're not gonna get that.
Fucking thing sucks.
Many plot threads never even officially closed out. They need to be inferred by the reader, and yes, like reading comprehension is very important, but sometimes like give us the answers. Like what was the true ending of the Culling Games? What happens to the Jujutsu Society at the end? Like we get it, like is Yugi, Megumi, and Nobara, they're gonna keep it going, but it was never like actually firmly stated. We're just supposed to guess. And as well, like I just feel like Gigi didn't even care about the characters. Like there were never funerals. There was never like moments of like, let's take a moment of silence on this character. Like Gojo just dies. Do you remember that? Do you remember the day that Gojo just died? Gojo was like the most beloved character in the series. I was literally, my day job is marketing, and there's a girl I was filming for content, and she sees my phone and she goes, is that Gojo Daddy on your phone? Because my phone case has Gojo, and I'm like, yeah. She goes, yeah, that's Throat Daddy. Daddy. I'm like, oh, okay, chill. But like, that's the impact that Gojo had on the series. No funeral, no moment of silence. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? And I don't know, maybe Gigi just didn't know what he wanted for this story. Maybe he was being told by his editors, hey, like go more into this, do more of this. Like for all I know, Jujutsu Kaisen could have been a school drama. It could have been about the students in Jujutsu High learning how to use their cursed energies and going out on these missions and coming back and going, yo, that was cool. Let's learn this next thing. But, you know, I don't know, maybe he didn't want to do that because My Hero Academia was going around and, you know, kind of the same plot. But still, like, that was something that wasn't really explored that much. I personally thought when I was getting into Jujutsu Kaisen that this was going to be like a adventure retrieval type series where every arc was about getting a new finger of Sukuna and then having to devour it. And then like the final arc was going to be, you know, how are they going to defeat Sukuna while also keeping Yuji alive? Because that was a big thing. Like they were like, hey, once you get all the fingers of Sukuna, we're going to kill you. And that just, that was dropped. Like we just didn't care anymore. And that's the biggest problem with Jujutsu Kaisen is that it felt like the TV show Lost. You remember the TV show Lost? You watched it for 7 seasons and at the end, everyone was dead the whole time. And you were like, did I just waste the last like 8 years of my life?
Know your fucking place, trash.
We were really invested in it because you felt smart because you understood the power system in Jujutsu Kaisen and you felt like you could piece together the fights. But then when you get to the ending, you just felt like you had no idea what had happened and how you got there. And it just felt like Gege, he just didn't give a damn about anything. He was just like, how do I do the next cool thing and ignore the other things that I've set up in the process? Like ultimately, I believe that Gege created a story that was too big for him to handle. And he just kept expanding it and expanding it. And, you know, maybe that's the problem with the shonen manga format, you know, with it coming out weekly. You know, this was Gege's first serialization, so maybe he just couldn't handle the pressure. I mean, if you read that letter that he posted about, you know, the series ending, he sounded almost like suicidal. He did not sound like he enjoyed making Jujutsu Kaisen at all. And yeah, maybe he just felt pressure, like having all of this popular. Jujutsu Kaisen, guys, was so popular. There were tons of YouTubers who were just making Jujutsu Kaisen content every single day. What Jujutsu Kaisen did, in my eyes, was something I hadn't seen in a lot of manga discourse for a really long time. Like every time there was a new chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, people were talking about the fights like they would commentating on sports. The level of excitement that people had with the fights in Jujutsu Kaisen was nuts. And I think like that is fantastic. That is telling of how amazing the series of Jujutsu Kaisen is. And honestly, that probably put immense pressure on Gege as a mangaka. You know, how do I make this bigger? How do I make this better? And, you know, you just got to keep expanding, making it bigger. And at some point, you know, you lose the plot of what you were trying to do. All in all, I praise Gege's ability to do what he did over the course of several years. Like I said, Jujutsu Kaisen did things I haven't seen in manga conversations for a long time. And to make a manga with the amazing art and story scope that he did is incredible. And it's hard and it's difficult. Most manga never get to the level of Jujutsu Kaisen, and he was able to achieve that. So that's amazing. I mean, he gave it his all. And despite its shortcomings and the things that I ranted about here, I'm super glad to have been part of this journey. Jujutsu Kaisen is still a massive part of my journey as someone who creates manga. You know, if you didn't know, I make my own manga. I'll put a link in the description. But yeah, like I think Jujutsu Kaisen is fantastic. It has some shortcomings, and I just wanted to address them, but it doesn't take away from the fact that Jujutsu Kaisen is a fantastic series. And so like congratulations to Gege, and like I'm excited to see what you come up with next. I really am. So thank you guys so much for watching. What are your thoughts on the finale of Jujutsu Kaisen, you know, after it being done for a couple months? Like, what are your thoughts? Like a couple months later, are you like, yeah, like that's still the best? Or is it like, yeah, like Tyler's right? Let me know in the comments. This was the Manga Cafe, a place where we talk about manga, make manga, and have a silly goose time. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.